Mental well-being. This is the state of thriving in various areas of our life. And when you talk about the various areas in your life, we're talking about relationships, we're talking about life at work, we're talking about your career, we're talking about much more. All these things that we hold dear, but at times we forget about. So today it's about mental well-being, and it's a state of thriving in these various areas, despite the ups and downs. Hi, this is Clarity Coach Lucy, and this is Tuesday Talks at 3. Welcome to Your Health, Your Wealth October. And this is our last episode. We have had an amazing 3 episodes before this. And if you missed any one of them, please check out our YouTube challenge. I beg your pardon, our YouTube platform, which is LMC Consultancy. For all those 3 episodes, amazing guests that we have. And today we are discussing your mental well-being. My guest is Fred Gichuki. Now, Fred is a health coach as well as a sales coach. He got into the health and wellness space more than 25 years ago when he partnered with an international wellness company called Neolife International. And I have invited Fred to talk to us a little bit about Neolife so we can understand this health and wellness space. Now, Neolife offers natural and organic interventions for resolving various wellness challenges. Fred is passionate about mentoring people, and he will be giving us at least 3 tips on better health and wealth so that we can thrive in our mental well-being. Well, welcome, Fred, and thank you so much for taking time out today. Please, you're most welcome to the screen. Well, it looks like we have lost him for a minute there, but I'm very sure that he will be back. Now, as we wait for Fred to come in, when we think about our mental well-being and those different areas in our lives, I would like for you in the chat right now to just share with me what areas in your life do you want to thrive and how is it working for you at the moment? So let's do at least one thing. Let's list down those areas in your life that you want to thrive. And I'm just going to look at my Facebook feed here and see that indeed we are live and that I'm not talking to myself. Let's see. And there we go. Yes, we are live, and we've been live for the last 3 minutes. So thank you so much, Jane Kuvuna. Great to see you here. And you say, hello, you are live. Thank you for informing me that. We have currently just lost our guest. Fred, I think, is due to internet connectivity, but I'm sure he will be back. In the meantime, Jane and one other person who's here so far, we are talking about your mental well-being, and we want to look at how we can thrive in this mental well-being. And I am talking about the areas in our lives that we want to thrive. So what areas in your life are important and you want to thrive in them? And I'd like you to share with me here in the chat, and I'm just going to read them out. So, mental well-being, the state of thriving in various areas of life, such as in relationships, at work, play, and much more, despite the ups and downs. So share with me. I'll just give you a few seconds to just type out those various areas in your life. And as you type those out for me, begin to also think about what it is that you're already doing at the moment to make this a reality for you, for it to thrive. I can see Fred is coming back in. So the question is, what areas are important in your life that you would like to thrive in? Jane Kuvuna, if you could share with us at least 2 areas in which you have relationship and business. Thank you so much for engaging, Jane. So we're looking at those various areas in life that you want to be able to thrive in. And I can see that Fred is back here. Welcome back, Fred. Sorry about that mishap. I hope you have managed to get the internet connectivity up and running.
Not quite. I'm now on bundles.
You're now on boil. You're making it work. Fantastic. In fact, this is one of the things that come up in life, you know, with our modern day lives. If you and I were sitting in a room and talking and having this conversation, we would not have had the interruption of internet connectivity. And this introduces stress. Stress, which is a topic that I'm very sure you're going to be talking about today by way of thriving in our mental well-being. Fred, right now we've got Jane Kuvuna who is tuned in from Watamu. And towards my introduction of what mental well-being is, I gave it as the state of thriving in various areas of life. And I asked, what areas of life would you like to thrive in? And Jane says relationship and business. So that is where you have found us now. So as we continue, Jane and anybody else who is watching, when we are looking at the different areas of our lives where we want to thrive, can you also share with us what has worked for you? What have you done towards relationship and business so far to help you thrive as we bring Fred onto the session? Karibu sana, Fred. It is good to have you here. And thank you so much for accepting to be my guest today. So are you able to hear us, Fred, clearly?
Yes, I'm able to hear you well.
Okay, so physical health and mental well-being are connected. This is what I know from my research and also from my life. I am cognizant of the fact that modern day demands are taking a toll on our bodies and our minds. And my question to you, Fred, is how can we therefore thrive knowing all this?
Okay, I must say that the only way to strive is to thrive rather, is to take measures that can actually help us improve our physical health and well-being and give us energy. And more importantly, also to help us deal with stress. And there are several things that we can do to ensure that these things are working well in our lives. And we can actually get into it and unpack them a little bit. Yes. Because one of the key things that influences, actually there are three areas that will influence your health and also your energy levels and your stress levels. And here we are talking about rest being number one. Okay. You need to rest enough. We are talking about 7 to 8 hours in a day. That you need to rest, and that is the time that the body is able to regenerate itself, and the mind is also able to regenerate itself. Then we need also to exercise. We need to move. We need to actually get into action. We need to stop being couch potatoes. We need to stop taking Ubers and bodas everywhere, and do a bit of exercise. Because that helps the fluids to move in the body, and vital processes, including digestion, happens much better. Even thinking becomes clearer when you do. Then the third thing is diet. Diet plays a huge role as far as our energy levels are concerned, as far as our mental well-being is concerned. We need to eat right. We need to really get to know what is the right way to eat. And more importantly, how do we then bridge any shortfalls or gaps that might occur in our diet going forward. So this is what I can say about that we can get into it a little bit more, but these are some of the issues that will actually influence that.
Yeah, influencing the way that we can thrive in this modern day demands. And thank you for sharing that. The three areas that you're looking at are rest, exercise, and diet. And these are important things. I mean, they're everyday things that we need to be aware of. And I'd like to just start off with diet. You know, when we talk about diet, what do you mean by that?
Okay, when you talk about diet, then we are talking about what your body requires. What does your body require to thrive? And what should be on your plate? Now, if you are to draw a plate and draw it as a circle, then the first thing that has to be on that plate is there has to be 75% has to be fruits and vegetables. These are important because they protect the body. They are the soldiers that protect your body. They boost your immunity, the body immunity. Now the body can be able to protect itself from any invaders. The other fraction that needs to be there in large quantities are whole grains. Any starch there should be whole grain. So we are talking about, if it is ugali, it has to be brown. The browns have to be there in a big way. Then you also need to eat grains, a lot of grains. And this is important because the grains have something that is so unique. And when you eat a whole grain, that is, you take, if it is maize, then you don't remove the germ, you don't remove the husk.
The husk.
You eat the whole thing. And what happens is that the germ has some oils or fatty acids, which we call lipids and sterols. And they work on your cell membranes so that now the cells can be able to absorb nutrients and waste can be able to come out. And when you eat a whole grain, then you find that your cells are very efficient. Metabolism is happening. You have a lot of energy in your body, and you find that you are vibrant, and your body processes are happening properly. The other important thing is to look at what should you minimize on, because we've talked about whole grains, you should eat in plenty, fruits and vegetables, you should eat in plenty. Now, what should you minimize? Two things that you should minimize. Number one, proteins, especially red meat. Red meat you should eat minimally. In fact, nutritionists say that a quarter kilo of meat should be eaten by 12 men.
Okay.
That's how little you should eat red meat. The flip side, when it comes to white meat, we are talking white meat, we are talking about chicken and fish. Okay. And a disclaimer there, pork is not white meat. Pork is even more lethal than the red meat that we eat. So, some people think pork is white meat. Pork is deadly. So it's the same level as a red meat. So, but chicken, then chicken you have to be specific because you have to eat kienyeji chicken, the road runners, not the broiler. Not the one that when you catch it, it sits down so that you can catch it properly. No, not that one.
The one that gives you exercise is the one.
the one that can take you for 100 meters dash. That's the one you should be eating. Then you should also eat fish, and fish, of course, from fresh fish, from our lakes, not from China, but from our lakes, that you should eat in plenty. In fact, for white meat, you should eat it 3 to 4 times a week, especially fish, because it has very good oils, which are good for your brain. Omega-3 oils, you know the story about omega-3 oils. It's the only food that your brain cells utilize. And when you're talking about mental health, omega-3 oils are number one in ensuring that your mind is healthy, that you're able to recall things, that you don't become forgetful, and that kind of thing, even as you grow older. So you should minimize red meat, increase on the white meat, then minimize fats and sugars. In fact, you need a teaspoon of fat and a teaspoon of sugar in a day. That's it. That's enough. And the reason for that is sugar is notorious for propagating the growth of bacteria in the body. And you find that it is like putting firewood, stoking a fire with more firewood. When you're taking a lot of sugar, you're adding more fire in your body. It's like you're increasing the volume or the amount of bacteria in your body. And diseases like cancer love sugar. Most diseases love sugar. They just thrive on sugar. So when you reduce it to 1 teaspoon a day or cut it out entirely, because you get a lot of sugar from the food that you take anyway, then you give yourself and your body a big, big favor. So that is ideally just a snapshot of how we should be eating so that you can be more energetic. We can function at peak levels as the days go by.
Wow. I mean, just listening to that means I, for one, have to totally revisit my plate and have a different conversation with my shopping list, because I'm hearing red meat is down. That one needs to be reduced. The fats and sugars down. Those need to be reduced. And you did say something, and last week we had a cancer survivor with us, and you mentioned that the cancers love the sugars, so that's definitely, in layman's term, stay away from the sugars. And I will move on to the others that are going up and down. When we talk about sugars, what about honey?
Now, honey, the irony about sugar, by the sugar is an interesting topic by itself. Honey is, if you can get honey and get it pure, that is encouraged, that is positive, and that actually has a lot of benefit for the body. If you can get sugarcane, now that's the irony of it all. Sugarcane, when you take sugarcane and you squeeze it and you take the juice or you chew it, now that is beneficial for you. It actually prevents you from getting things like diabetes and so many problems. Now, the byproduct of sugar, molasses is recommended by nutritionists for treating so many conditions, arthritis, preventing diabetes, and all these things. But you see, with processing removes the most important thing in the diet, throws it out. And then what we are left with is junk.
Yeah.
That's the irony of it. So sugarcane is good for you, even if you have cancer. Sugarcane is able to prevent some forms of cancer, like breast cancer, and these hormonal cancers. It's able to manage them. Sugarcane juice and molasses. Molasses is good for you. But now when you go to take the processed thing, now you're getting into some serious trouble.
Yeah. Well, thank you for saying that. At least now there's a bit more understanding around there. But the honey has to be pure, because some honey that we find that is being delivered to us has already been doctored, added, removed things, and we end up not having the pure honey that we are consuming. Okay, so red meat down, fats and sugars down, honey, pure honey. And what goes up is your white meat, and pork is not white meat. In fact, your words were pork is more lethal than red meat. All right, point to note. So we can eat our pork, we can eat our red meat, but in moderation. Grains, and then you talked about brown ugali. Now there's a lot of brown. There's also brown rice.
Yes, and brown rice is good for you. And by the way, this information, and I'm really glad that you're actually putting in this information out there, because many people get to interact with this information when it's too late. They're sitting in front of a doctor and they already have diabetes, and now they're being taught how to eat. And I truly commend you for having this conversation so that you can equip people in advance to avoid a situation where they fall sick and have to go and see a doctor or a nutritionist or a nurse, for the nurse now to start telling them, okay, going forward, this is how now you'll be eating. Because And you see, you are being told that because you're not eating that way, you're eating the wrong way, and that's why you have negative things happening in your body. So, it's a powerful conversation.
And you know, Fred, we find ourselves in these situations more often than not, that in those of us living in the cities, that in our older age now, we begin to become aware of what should be on our plate because we've heard it in a doctor's room. However, I know of families in the village, I know of families in the city also who have made diet a priority in their lives. You know, there's this general assumption that children don't like vegetables, but a child is conditioned by what they see on their plate growing up. And an intentional move in this direction, as a parent, if you're listening to me, as a grandparent, as you're listening to us here, just introduce this diet from the beginning. We did it because we had the background of village upbringing. We didn't know anything better, but to have this on our plates. And by the time we were having the meat or the chicken or the fish, it was a treat. It was a once in a month, or maybe at the end of the year when, because we know we're going to shags, a goat is going down or a cow is going down. And this was our background. I remember a story with nostalgia, as you mentioned, the preference of chicken is the roadrunner. I remember once a month, my mother would say, okay, Lucy, get the chicken. And man, it was a roadrunner. It was 100 meters dash. That I do not lie. So being the firstborn girl in my home, I'm the one who was getting the chicken. Therefore, I had to slaughter it and cook it. At the end of that month is when the chapati was brought. And that is now me making the chapati and me making the greens. But I ran after the chicken. So thank you for that nostalgic moment right there, taking us back. Now, when we look at this kind of diet, and Jane says here, great knowledge, thanks. When we look at this diet, how do these nutrients affect areas in my life where I would like to thrive? And I'll use Jane as an example here as we are streaming live. Jane talks about relationship and business. Would there be a correlation there, Fred, with this diet and how Jane can walk away today on business and relationship?
Yes, true there is, because your diet influences quite a bit. It influences everything about you. When you talk about relationship, then we are talking about interpersonal relationships.
Yes.
The ability to handle stress, the ability to handle challenges that are thrown our way on a day-to-day basis. If your diet is wanting and you are eating more processed foods, sugar, a lot of sugar, then you're bound to have sugar spikes in the body, and sugar spikes will come with irritability, being hyper, and your partner may not understand you. You're irritable. Even kids when they take a lot of sugar, when they take sweets, then yes. they are hyper and they run around.
So much energy. Yes.
Yeah, they just unbearable and they are breaking everything and crying all over the place. They can't sleep properly. Basically because I mean, the body is not okay. It's getting too much of sugar, which it does not need. So that's number one. That can happen. Then the other thing is when you're not eating enough fish, you're not getting your four servings of fish per week, then you find that you're not getting enough lipids and steroids, and you're not getting enough of omega-3 oils, which means that you'll be more forgetful. You will suffer migraines. Actually, most people that I've dealt with who had migraines, and it's usually because of lack of omega-3. You give them omega-3 and the migraines are gone. So you realize it was not about Panadol or Maramoja. It was about dealing with the root cause of the problem, which was actually lack of nutrients in the body.
Yes.
So your relationship suffers. Now, when you come to, if you go a bit deeper, and you're eating a lot of broiler chicken and many of the processed foods, they interfere with your hormones. So you get hormonal imbalance. And what that
Wow.
does, your skin starts breaking out. You start getting pimples, acne, that kind of thing. Hormonal imbalance will lead to things like endometriosis, irregular menses, mood swings, infertility. When you get to a point where you want to now get serious in the relationship and even get a family, you'll not be able to conceive, basically because your hormones are not balanced. And that leads to, for some men, impotence. For ladies are unable to get children. So yes, your diet does really impact your relationship with other people. When it comes to business, if you're not getting the right diet, your immunity is challenged. When you're not getting enough fruits and vegetables, your immunity is challenged. And when your immunity is challenged, it means that any common cold or flu that comes along, you get it. And you'll have very little, you'll not be productive at all. You'll just want to stay in the house and sleep and maybe nurse a cold. And then that cold is over, something else crops up, and you have a lot of downtime, which means that, again, your production is affected.
Wow. Wow. Well, Jane, I hope you have heard that. The two areas that you would like to thrive in, you want to be able to check in with your diet and ensure that you're eating the right way. And Fred has explained to us what we need to reduce, what we need to increase. And the reason behind this is the nutrients. Now, these nutrients are able to bridge those shortfalls in our system, the thing that we need. You have heard that too much sugar is not good for you. And for me, my takeaway is that...
Sorry, we lost you there. You are mute. We can't hear you.
Oh, have I disappeared? Okay, just checking that now. Can you hear me clearly? Can you hear us clearly, Jane and Sheila? Are you able to hear Fred and myself? Yes, Jane says that she can hear me. Can you hear Fred?
Yes, you're coming back. Now you're coming back.
Perfect. Thank you so much for that. Yes, so we're talking about the boosting of the nutrients in your body so that you can bridge the shortfalls of whatever it is that we need. That brings me to the word supplements. There's been a lot of hype on supplements. Fred, tell us a little bit more about that.
Okay, supplementation is relatively new in Kenya and in Africa because for the longest time, we've been having a pretty good diet. Our foods, we've been getting enough nutrients from the foods we've been eating right. But when the Western diet came up and people started getting into it and we got into very busy lifestyles, then you find that right now we don't really have time to get the nutrients or eat in the right way, like I was suggesting. Then again, there's been a lot of overcropping, too much tilling of the land, use of fertilizer, chemicals, fertilizers. And what has happened is that the nutrients that are in the soil have been depleted. And today, an orange is not an orange. Nowadays, the orange that you're eating today doesn't lack the nutrients that it is supposed to have. Some of the oranges we are eating are from Israel, Egypt, all the way. So you find that the longer you stay with an orange as you're transporting it, the less the nutrients that the final consumer will actually get from it. Okay. Then there's been a lot of pollution. There's a lot of pollution that has been going on. And that has also interfered with what ends up on our plate. And what has resulted is that, yes, people are eating, we are eating our cabbages, we are eating our kale, our skuma wiki, and our carrots, but they lack the nutrients that are supposed to be in them. Now, you may ask, how do you know that it lacks the nutrients? When you see the incidence of lifestyle diseases escalating, previously things like diabetes, things like high blood pressure, those were diseases of the rich. I don't know whether you can remember that.
A funny thought just entered my mind right now, and I hope I remember it for later. Yes, they were the diseases for the rich only.
I mean, cancer was unheard of. Cancer, that was unheard of. We used to hear it maybe in the media, in the news, and people would be like, oh, cancer, there's something called cancer. But today, everyone knows somebody who has high blood pressure, who has diabetes, who has a certain lifestyle disease, who is overweight, who needs to shed some kilos, or somebody who is struggling with fertility and trying to get children. I mean, we all know people who are going through that. And supplementation originated in the US. The first ever supplement was made in 1930 in the US. And the American government had looked at what was lacking in the American diet. And they realized that one of the key things that was lacking is the whole grain. The lipids and sterols that I was talking about were lacking in the diet. And what was happening is that Americans were so fatigued, so tired, and they were lacking in energy. And it was a mix of a depression, economic depression. And they researched on and looked at what is it that was removed from the diet that needs to be replaced. And they found the issue of the lipids and sterols that are found in the germ of grains. And they formed a product, which is called 3NN, 3-in-1. And that product, a tablet that you swallow, which actually has lipids and sterols, which are put there in their natural and organic form. They're not cooked. And when you take it, it helps your cells to function the way God intended them to function. When your cells are functioning right, then even the food that you're taking in is better utilized by the body. Any medication you're taking is utilized properly. You actually get more value for anything else that you're taking when you're taking 3NN than if you're not taking 3NN. And that was the beginning of the supplementation industry. Today it's called the food industry. And thinking about supplements, then you need to look at, is what I'm getting, is it natural and organic or is it synthetic? Yeah. And majority of what we have in the shops is actually synthetic, but that's something that we can discuss a little bit further.
Yes, you need to come back for another session so that we can break that down. For now, we just need to, what I'm hearing is we need to know our supplements and take them. It is important that we take these supplements because our diet is missing out. Do I get you right?
Yes, that is true. Right now, supplementation is mandatory. If you look at the developing world again, with their poor diet, they start supplementing when they are kids. The life expectancy in America is over 70 years. Go to Japan and China, they supplement, their diet is quite good. Their diet is, they eat the right food in most cases, but they also supplementing at a very, very early age. So when you go to buy your groceries, you buy your groceries plus your supplements.
Plus the supplements, okay.
Yes, and most medics in the developed world, when you go to them, they will not give you an antibiotic or this or that. They first tell you, take this herb, take this, you're deficient in zinc, you're deficient in calcium, you need to up your calcium, they have gone into the protective kind of medicine, whereby you not only treat diseases, but you also help the person's body so that it can protect itself from disease, rather than just giving medicine all the time. So they do more treatments than they do.
Yeah, more of prevention is what I'm hearing right there, Fred. We have a few questions here and comments. I'd just like to read them out. Sheila says, Lucy, you and your guests just hit the nail on the head with this topic. Thank you both. You're most welcome, Sheila. Jane says, the explanations are well given in terms of relationship and business. Well, I guess, Fred, you were able to give Jane, something to take away and apply by way of effectiveness of relationship and business when it comes to thriving and mental well-being. Then we've got Dottie. Dottie asks, are natural sugars okay from fruits? First question. And second question, Fred, is also, can one overdo fruits without worrying? Over to you, Fred.
Fantastic. Now, natural sugars from fruits are excellent. They're actually fructose, and that is good for you. That is good for you. Unless where you have a condition like, or a disease, like if you have cancer, then you find that because they really, cancer loves sugar. Cancer cells love sugar. So what happens is that most oncologists will tell you to reduce on some of the fruits which have a lot of sugar.
Okay.
Some of the, like watermelon, some will tell you to go slow on bananas and that kind of thing. But that is if you have a disease like cancer, for example, which really thrives on sugar. But if you are healthy and if you don't have any disease in you, that the doctor said, don't take this, don't take that, then fruits are the way to go. You cannot overdose on fruits. You cannot eat fruit, too much fruit. In fact, I can tell you one thing. I've seen cases whereby somebody has stage 4 cancer and they go on a diet of fruit juice, and they take a lot of different types of fruits and vegetables, and they blend them and they take the juice and they keep taking, and that person gets back on his feet and is able to be productive again. So fruits actually do heal the body in a very big way, and they are to be consumed limitlessly. You should eat as much as you can. In fact, WHO recommends that every day you should take 9 different types of different colored fruits and vegetables. And the key point here is the color. The colors should be different. Should have a red, purple, green, pink, mix them up. Then you're protecting yourself, because each color has a benefit in the body.
Wow, thank you so much, Fred. Well, Dottie, I hope you got your answer right there. We cannot eat enough of fruits. We need to have more of them. And from the WHO statistic there, the 9 different types of fruits that we should have on our plates, clearly we need to have natural supplements. And we also mentioned 3 times a week to have fish. Omega-3 is what we need. Fred, I'm loving this. I have a question for you. When it comes to considering my, my lifestyle, yeah? So how does my choice of lifestyle or our choice of lifestyle affect our mental well-being?
Okay. Now, you find that our mind is a very unique organ in our body, and our mind does not rest. In fact, there are 2 organs that don't rest: the mind and the heart. They work from the day you are born. When you're in the womb, the first cells to be produced are the brain cells, and that's where mental health starts. And I can see the people on the call are women. One of the key reasons why it is highly discouraged, or rather, most medics will tell you not to drink alcohol, especially if you're expectant or if you're planning to conceive, is because the first cells that come of the fetus are the brain cells. So when you're taking alcohol, and many times there's usually a lapse between the time you conceive and the time that you get to know that actually I'm carrying a baby. So you find that people will conceive, and then 1 month later, when they miss their menses, then they will realize, oops, I may have conceived. And some people will even go further before they even think that they have conceived, especially if they have been having irregular menses. They might even go 2 months before they take it seriously. And if you are indulging in alcohol, one thing that alcohol does is that it has a negative impact on brain cells. It actually damages brain cells. And when you have a fetus in you and you're taking alcohol, then what happens is that most of the kids who will later get to be born will have delayed milestones. Some of them will become autistic and get all manner of challenges as far as mental health is concerned. So when you're talking about mental health, there are things that you can do in your lifestyle that will damage or have a negative impact on your mental health. Too much alcohol, for one. Alcohol is not good for your mental health. A beer once in a while is good enough. It's okay. It's part of the diet. It gives you some benefits right there. But if you make it a habit and if you abuse it, then it becomes a problem. Then when you go to not sleeping enough, sleeping 5 hours in the night, 3 hours in the night, going without sleep, then you're straining the body too much. The mind is not able to rest. It's not able to rejuvenate itself. And that starts bringing problems. When you're in a very stressful environment, maybe you have a high flying job or you have a job, it may not be high flying, but where you work for very long hours and you don't get enough rest, then you find that you are very fatigued, and that also has a negative effect on your mental health. Now, if you're not eating the right food, you're taking a lot of junk food, then you find that you are lacking in vital nutrients that transport oxygen in the body. For example, vitamin E. If you're eating junk food, you will not get vitamin E from anywhere. And vitamin E is responsible for ensuring that the oxygen that is circulating in the body, in your blood, is actually extracted for energy. So if you're eating junk food, then you find that you don't have that. And if you're not eating enough fruits and vegetables, then you lack something we call CoQ10. Your body is not producing enough CoQ10. And CoQ10 is the energy, CoQ10 actually fires up your cells. Your cells have something we call mitochondria, the mitochondria of the cell. And it needs CoQ10 to actually get it fired up to produce energy so that you can be functioning properly. You find that for you to have enough CoQ10, you need to be eating enough fresh fruits and vegetables. So if you're not eating enough fresh fruits and vegetables and you're eating a lot of junk, then the amount of CoQ10 being produced in your body is low. And as a result, your energy levels are low, and that will actually affect the way your organs, including your brain, the way it is functioning, will be affected by the amount of CoQ10 in your body. Now, for most young people, the body produces ample amount of CoQ10, especially, of course, depending on the amount of fruits and vegetables that they are eating. But as you grow older, then there is less CoQ10 being produced in your body. By the time you hit 50, the age 50, then you're producing less than 50% of the CoQ10. And that's why you find that most 50-year-olds and above tend to doze at all times. You wake up, you're dozing off. In meetings, you're dozing off. Because the amount of energy in the body has gone down. So, so your lifestyle and your diet can actually have a negative impact on your mental health. But the good thing is there's a solution out there that can actually be able to help you to deal with situations. And that comes in the form of supplements, because you can actually take supplements that can help you have CoQ10 in the body, that can help you to rest, to deal with stress, so that you're not so worked up for long periods of time. So we do have interventions that can actually be able to sort that one out.
Wow, how articulate, Fred. And you've got me sitting up straight, and you've got Jane saying, I see on the dosing part of older people, now certain things begin to make sense. I am hearing that a healthy lifestyle has many benefits. And it helps us not only to feel good, but in the long term, it helps us to stay well for longer. Yes, as though we are aging, the lifestyle, if it is a healthy one, helps us to stay well for longer. And this is in contrast to an unhealthy lifestyle, which has these negative effects on our health and making it more likely for us to develop serious medical conditions over time that could be preventable. And you've mentioned three things there that I hope our guests are listening to and will be able to either read more about it or just reflect further, is alcohol consumption, sleep, the right amount of sleep, and the stressful environments. These are areas in our lifestyle that we need to be aware of and cognizant of what we can be doing. And therefore, our lifestyle choices need to be intentional in these areas and even more. Well, I have a question for you. You have spoken about diet and lifestyle, and you have alluded to energy levels. So what enhances energy levels, and how can it benefit our mental well-being?
Okay. Now, energy levels, you can approach it from different angles as per what can enhance your energy levels. I talked about the right kind of diet that you are eating, but you can also get the right supplements that can actually help you with energy levels. And I happen to interact with a company called Neolife. Been dealing with them for many years, for more than 20 years. And they provide what we call natural and organic supplements. And their motto is based in nature, but backed by science. Based in nature, backed by science. They're very strict on even the farming of the raw materials. They go to the farm and see, are you using chemicals? Is there any residue in the raw material? And they provide natural and organic supplements that when you take your diet, because we've seen that it's very hard, really, it's very, very hard to eat the right kind of diet as per WHO specifications because of if you look at things like fruits, they are seasonal, sometimes they're not available. Then again, the nutrients may not be in the fruits in the first place. The cells are depleted and all that. The good thing about a supplement is that they take the food and they extract the nutrients. So if they say vitamin A, they're able to get the vitamin A and put it in the capsule. So they know the amount of vitamin A in that capsule, yeah? So when you take that, then you're assured that in spite of what you ate in terms of food, you have vitamin A from the supplement that you have taken. And that explains why the people in the developed world have a longer lifespan than we do.
Yeah.
You find at the age of 90, 95 years of age, they are still driving. They still have a driving license. 82 years, my sister is in Germany. 82-year-olds are the bus drivers. 90-year-olds are still have a driving license. The other day I was sharing with you, I was watching a 95-year-old man was in front of a judge for overspeeding in the US. And so you see that they live a rich lifestyle. They live a full life in the real sense of the word, such that if you at 70 years old, if your spouse passes away, you marry again because you still have another almost
20, 25, 30 years to go. Yes.
Oh, so you need a partner. And it's because they're able to, they've taken charge of their nutrition. They've taken charge of the nutrients that the body, they understand that your body only functions based on the nutrients that you're getting into your body. And you cannot assume that the food that you're taking has the nutrients because it's so high that it lacks what you're looking for. So the supplements come in to really ensure that, like now we're talking about the omega-3 oils. Omega-3 oils will help your brain to function properly. When you take a tablet of omega-3, it is way, way cheaper than taking a fish. Right now, fish is quite expensive for most people to afford. And if you're talking about 3 to 4 times a week, it's almost impossible to do that, especially if you have a family of 5 people or 4 people thereabouts. But you can take a can of omega-3 oils, like the one we distribute, and you buy it, and you can take that with your family for a whole month. Now that makes it quite reasonable, and it gives you value for money, so that even as you're enjoying your chips, because we are not saying that if you go for a party and people are having chips and chicken, and so now you're walking around on tiptoe and saying this is broiler. Yeah, your life will be very miserable. I mean,
yes, it can be.
You can be a freak, where you cannot even eat a pizza with your family because you're looking at the calories and the what. But
So
after you enjoy yourself, or if you're invited for a drink, you go and have a drink or two, then you take a product like Aloe Vera Plus, which will help you to now deal with the side effects that come from the drink. Supplementation actually helps you to bridge the gap between what you're supposed to be getting and what you should have in your body, and ensures that energy levels are tip-top.
Yeah, wow. Wow. I mean, you just need to come back, Fred, because already there's something we need to talk about more on sugars. And now when I'm hearing about energy levels, and you mentioned about the CoQ10, we want to hear more about that. What is it? How does it help me with all my energy? Because in the different areas of my life, I need to be able to be effective and efficient and thriving and what is the word? Have vitality, exactly. Have vitality. And if it means that I need to be aware now of the supplements that I need and start taking them now or putting them on the table for the youth to start taking by the time they get to my age and even older, not only have they now put the diseases on the other side of the door, they're energetic. They can even change careers, as you have said, change partners. Because some things that you have said are very sobering. In the food that we put on our plate, there's no guarantee that it has all the supplements. So I may have all the colors of fruits on my plate, but where this fruit has come from, the kind of value that it has been stripped of, then it is pointless. I'm just doing the theory, but the actual benefits I'm not getting. You also mentioned that the aspect of the capability financially of having that kind of a diet. You specifically talked about fish. This is true story. So definitely we need to be looking at the supplements. And we are actually coming to the end of our session. I do have a question here for you from Sheila. It says, Frederick, which herbs and spices would be found in your kitchen garden?
Okay, now the herbs and spices. Well, I love herbs and spices. And I mean, we are talking about garlic. Garlic is just amazing. It's a natural antibiotic. It helps in thinning the blood. It's an antiviral, antifungal. In fact, we do have a product called Garlic Helium, which now combines all the onion family, the pungent vegetables, the onion, the leek, the celery, and the garlic, and they put it in one capsule. And it helps it's an antifungal, antiviral, antibacterial. Instead of swallowing antibiotics, that's what is recommended.
Yeah.
Ginger is just amazing. Ginger is amazing. For many, it prevents so many diseases. Turmeric is just the best, preventing cancer.
Yeah.
Cancer is oxidation, and oxidation means it's like rusting. When a piece of metal rusts, what do? You oil it, and you apply paint. When you apply paint and you oil, that piece of metal is good to go for several years from now. So when you now take your fruits and vegetables, the 9 different types of fruits and vegetables, then you put some color Turmeric will give you the color. Ginger has a bit of color.
Yes.
You're actually painting the cells, and you're ensuring you're protecting them from getting cancer. Then we have things like Dania. Dania, I forget the English word for it.
Coriander.
Coriander is very good for you. Coriander is very good for you. What else? There are quite a number of herbs. Moringa. Moringa is amazing. Moringa is a herb, is a tree actually, but Moringa does a lot for so many conditions. It prevents so many conditions. It alleviates inflammation in the body. It's the anti-cancer. It deals with so many diseases that people go through, and ensures that it protects your body from them. So in a nutshell, that's what I would consider.
Those are the herbs you would have in your kitchen garden. Well, Sheila, I hope you do have your answer there. And Sheila has also summarized our discussion today. So I'm just going to read it out for you. She says, isn't that fabulous information? My takeaways for 4 lifestyle habits that I can implement immediately: exercise, 9 different colored fresh fruits, vegetables, and 4 fish meals weekly, and then proper sleep and rest. Thank you so much, Fred. We would love to know, I mean, time, we're exactly 4 on top of the hour. We'd love to know how to get hold of you. But more importantly, I would love to invite you back to Tuesday Talks at 3. If anything, to talk to us about Neolife. Is that something that you would be open to?
Yes, definitely I'll be open because I know this is a wide topic and we cannot exhaust it within 1 hour. So I'll be willing and available to appear, and we can discuss further. How you can get me, I can give you my phone numbers. You can maybe write it down somewhere.
I'm just putting it, I'm putting it in the chat of the Facebook Live. So you can give that to me. So it is Fred Gichuki.
Fred Gichuki, telephone number is 0722 804 744.
Okay, I've got it. Fred Gichuki, 0722 804 744. Okay, guys, you have got his contact right there, and he'll be coming back, as you have heard him say. Thank you very much, Fred. If you could just leave us with 3 takeaways, we would be so happy, and close our session.
Fantastic. So the 3 takeaways are: diet. Take care of your diet. Get supplements, natural and organic supplements that will supplement your diet, so that your diet is as close as possible to what WHO recommends. Number 2, work on your stress levels, lower stress in your body, avoid stressful situations, and take corrective measures where stress is concerned. Number 3, keep moving, have energy, exercise your body. Don't become a couch potato. That's not a good thing.
Yes.
Forget that. Delete the number of your favorite boda boda or Uber guy from your phone, and that will actually help you in ensuring that your body is functioning properly. That's what I would say.
Thank you so much, Fred, for accepting my invitation to discuss how we can thrive in these modern times. And for the audience, I do hope that these 3 takeaways get us thinking about our diet and lifestyle choices. Thank you so much, Fred, and we look forward to welcoming you back. Well, this October, as I say, we're coming to the end of the month of October. We've got 2 specials, I beg your pardon, that are happening right now. We have got the buy a course and get a complimentary coaching session with me, valued at 5,000 shillings. And then we've got buy my book, as you can see right there. And as you buy it with that purchase, you get 2 complimentary coaching sessions, which are worth or valued at 10,000 shillings. In the meantime, remember to like our Facebook page to receive regular updates. This is where you'll know about the book. This is where you'll get your links to go onto the courses. Great stuff that is going on here at LMC Consultancy. If you missed our previous sessions, we have got the channel, the YouTube channel, where you can get the recorded versions. Yes, the entire 1 hour. Do not tire. It's got very valuable information like today. Tell a friend to like, hit notification, name it. Yeah. So let us continue to help building each other. We will see you in the month of October. I look forward to welcoming you all back to Tuesday Talks at 3. Until then, be kind to yourselves. Bye-bye now.